So the very first card you're going to want to run is Overwhelming Affection, right? Hold on, let me get it right. So you're going to run this card and you're going to run it at 4 copies. The reason why is because this deck is very dependent on having certain cards at certain times. You want Bird Mode at turn 4. You want Death Scythe, the immediate turn after that. And then you want Wing Zero, the immediate turn after that, right? You want to ramp into your Wing Zero. Playing both of those cards in succession will give you 2 extra resources, which will allow you to play Wing Zero and basically outramp your opponent. So Overwhelming Affection is absolutely necessary. I run it at 4 copies. You want to see this card and you want to be able to discard and get the cards that you actually need. Next, this card is debatable. I'm running 4 Choo-Choos. Now, the main reason why I'm running it, the pros of it, is that it gives me a draw and a discard to, again, early game, be able to start looking for the cards that I need to get. But also it has 3 AP, which allows me to crack a base. It's not absolutely necessary for me to apply pressure to my opponent early game with this deck, but it is nice to have. The only thing that I don't like about this card, and why I would argue that maybe you could take it out for maybe a Zowar or something, is that it dies to being pinged. So if you swing with it and then they have a gun tank, they pop it basically for free because it only has 1 health. I don't really like that about this card. Also, late game, it doesn't really have a lot of value. So if anything, I would argue that maybe you could even run it at 3 because it's not absolutely necessary. I would rather just have Overflowing Affections and keep cycling to get what I need. But that's at the level 2 turn, right? But then you go into your level 3 turn. This is probably an absolute necessity. It's Lefrith. It's debatably the best blocker in the game, if not best early game blocker. It might even be just the best blocker in general, considering level, AP, everything. It might just be the best blocker. You put this out, it can't die to being pinged. It's not going to be, nobody's going to trade 1 for 1 with it for real. It's going to get usually at least 2 blocks off before it dies, or it can stop your opponent from attacking altogether, which buys you time, which is what it's meant to do, to give you time to get the cards that you need and get into the late game. This deck is really susceptible to being rushed because you're waiting for your late game cards and you're not applying a lot of pressure in the beginning. So the Frith is really good. You're running 2 copies of Striker Pack, which is basically an extra Frith. You don't really want to play this card at your level 4, but it's there just in case you need to buy time, right? Which is kind of, what happens, unfortunately. Next, you're going to play 3 copies of Bird Mode. I probably could be convinced that you could run 4 copies of Bird Mode because it's so essential to getting out your Wing Zero. The reason why I'm only running 3 is because I don't like the fact that Bird Mode doesn't do anything if once you play 1 Bird Mode, you got the use out of the card. You're never going to play Bird Mode again. There's never a reason to play Bird Mode after you play the first one because it gives you that extra resource so you can get into the next play. So ideally, at level 4 is when you want to play Bird Mode. You play that at level 4, right? Then you get 1 extra resource, so that I'll put you at level 5. Turn passes, you get to the next turn, and then now you add a resource which puts you at level 6, which allows you to play Death Scythe. So playing Bird Mode on level 4 allows you to play Death Scythe the very next turn, which allows you to play Wing Zero the next turn. So after you do that, there's no use for Bird Mode. Even at level 3, there's just every other card is more useful. So once you see that you have 1 Bird Mode, anyone after that can just be discarded. It's gonna die really easy. It doesn't trade well. It doesn't do anything but give you that extra resource. But it's very kind of critical to the Wing Zero strategy. So I don't know. You could argue 4. I think 3 is enough. Personally, I have a 4th, but I really don't think you need it. Next is Gundam Death Scythe. I'm running this at 4 copies. This card is not critical to the deck either, but it's just really good to have if you're not seeing the cards that you do need, because it can eliminate an opponent's Frith, right? It only takes 2 damage, and then it'll repair 1, so it really only takes 1 damage from fighting with Frith. It can crack an EX base. It can crack a strong opponent. It won't die to ping. So this actually ends up being a really good card. It only costs 2, and you can realistically pair it with a duo and then maybe play an Overflowing Affection or something of that nature. Play one of your command cards that you're choosing to run. So it just allows for some sort of versatility and buy you some more time. Next card we're going to play, only 2 copies of the Path to Victory or Defeat. I was watching somebody else's deck build, and they made a really good point about this card, because I used to run it at 4. The fact that it's level 5 kind of defeats the purpose of the card. By level 5, you need to have already started to get the things that you needed in order to make the deck effective. Turn 5, level 5 is way too late to be playing this card. The only reason why I still opt to play it at 2 is because if for some reason you don't have the cards, this can get you out of a bind. But this is not the primary card that you're playing to try to get the cards that you need. This is basically a get out of jail free card when you're already in a messed up situation. This card can be discarded. If you need a card to discard, that's one of the ones that I would pick. As crazy as that sounds, because it's so good, it's just the fact that it's level 5. If it was level 3, it would be a lot better. But level 5, you should already had you already need your Death Sight in hand. You already needed your Bird Mode. You already needed your Wing Zero. It's like almost too late. Anyway, Shenlong. This is really good. This is basically your other primary win condition outside of your Wing Zero if the matchup that you have doesn't permit you to go for Wing Zero. If you can't go for Wing Zero or you're playing like a whole bunch of blockers, this is the card that you're gonna play. It has so much value. You could potentially trade this card for 5 cards, and let me tell you how. Two cards for 5. So you play it on turn 5, paired with Chang Wu Fei. Another reason why you don't want to play this, why this card is not that critical, because on level 5 you can also play. This is a much better play. You pair this with Chang Wu Fei, right? You swing at a card that is rested. It destroys one of your opponent's blockers, kills the card that you swung at. Chances are it has 3 AP or less because of how early in the game you play this, and it breaches forward to your opponent's base. This is especially good if you already have the base cracked, or they don't have a base, or whatever the case may be, because then you get a shield, a card, and a blocker, right? So that's 3 cards. That's 3 cards for 1, but let's count it 2 because it's only 2 units. Then on your opponent's turn, in order to kill this, they need to play a card with a pilot to kill it, and then they're gonna trade. So that means you basically play 2 cards to kill 4. And then what's even doper is if they can't kill it on the next turn, you can swing again, pop another blocker, pop another shield, which means now you guaranteed 4 cards for 2, technically 6 cards because you pop 2 shields, and then you can still wait to get the trade. Like, this card has like so much value you can get out of it, especially if they can't pop it when it comes out. So yeah, just a really good card. So now this is probably going to be a really controversial take. I haven't had the opportunity to run 4 Wing Gundams, so I have my opinion about this card is really limited. But I don't like it that much. Like, I like the card by itself, but the thing I don't like about it is that it's level 6. And this card is not better than Death Scythe. And it doesn't do the same thing, and it deviates from the plan, right? So I play this card very, very late game after I've already played Wing Zero, and I need to continue to apply pressure to end the game. That's when I play this card. It becomes a 7/7 with Hero. Very great stats. Breach 5, super great ability. The problem with it, it just kind of deviates from the strategy of the deck if you're going for Wing Zero. So I only play it at 2. I only have 2 But even if I had 4, I would probably still only play it at 2. Because I only want to see this at the very end of the game, maybe. And even then, there might even still be better options. Now, we're going to the bread and butter of the deck and my personal favorite card and pilot, Death Scythe. You need this on your level 6 turn because it'll put you in a position to play Wing 0. You play this, and just like Shenlong, it trades for up to 4 cards because you can kill a linked unit for free. So that's 2 cards for 2 cards, and they have to play something with the link unit to kill this, which will put you at, and they'll probably trade, which puts you at 4 cards for 2. And you can swing something, take damage. You can swing it, you can play it, swing for a link unit, kill it for free, and then the next turn swing, kill something else, which means you killed 3 cards, and then they trade for it, which means you took 5 cards for 2. It's insane value out of this one. This is why the late game for green, this green deck is so much better, because you'll be able to start coming back. Chance 9 times out of 10 you'll probably be losing as far as shields are concerned at this point in the game. Which brings me to my next card, Wing 0. I mean, you could argue that you play 4 of this card because it is like the whole point of the deck. I just only have 3, so I play 3, but I think 3 or 4 is fine. Nothing less than 3, and you can argue for 4, but 3 is okay too. I wish I had 4. I probably would be running it at 4, but that's okay. So next we got 4 Hero Yuis. The reason why you're running 4 is basically because of the stats. You're really not going to get too many links off with Hero Yui, is what I've seen in reality. What you're going to do is, if you don't have a duo, you can pair this with Death Scythe on the following turn, right? Which is kind of slow, but it's what you can do, and it makes Death Scythe and everything really strong, because it's, you know, it's either 2-1, which is pretty decent stats, or 3-2, which is insane, the best stats in the game, which you can pair with your Wing Gundam to make it a 7-7, which is absolutely nuts in late game. 3 Changwu Feis, because you're really only going to pair this with the Shenlong. You can pair it with the Death Scythe as well, but the main purpose of this card is to pair with Shenlong. If you have Changwu Fei, if you don't have a duo and you have to pick a pilot to pair with Death Scythe, I would put Hero Yui just because it gives better stats and you're not getting the link ability anyway. Then 4 copies of Duo, of course. He pairs with the Death Scythe, and you need him to be in the Death Scythe to get the most value out of that card. And then lastly, the 4 underground bases. It has 6 health. And in this deck, because you're so worried about getting rushed early game, the best thing that you can do is get them block the most amount of attacks from your opponent until you can get to your Wing 0, which is why I play the underground base. Might even be one of the best bases in the game. Even though it doesn't do anything but have 6 health, that 6 health is very, very, very useful in this deck. Hopefully I'll be able to play this deck today. Locals is later on, but I don't know if I'll be able to go. Hopefully I will, and if I do, I'll bring my camera, I'll get some footage, and we'll see how this deck plays out. But before that, I'm gonna probably play some more test runs. I'm not gonna change the deck at all because I know this is how I want it, but I'm probably gonna play some test matches on Discord until it's time for locals and stuff. But yeah, all right, appreciate you guys watching. Any comments, changes, questions, concerns, leave them below, and I'll see you guys at the next video.